The motivation that you get from self-development videos is super powerful, but also super fleeting. It's actually breaking down your self-confidence and making it more and more difficult to get where you want. Self-development videos won't help you unless you watch this first, because this video actually is going to give you tasks that you want to do. So you're gonna get motivated. But this time, it's not going to be from me telling you things, it's going to be from the satisfaction of accomplishing something yourself. I'm Daria, welcome to my channel, and by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why all of the self-development content you've been consuming isn't translating into action. The absolute easiest, most enjoyable tasks you can use to level up and get to that point that you actually want to do. And a crash course of the top 3 most effective things you can do to help with anxiety so that you can do these things and have a way easier and more pleasant life. I'm literally here to hold your hand because you and me, we have a lot going up in here. Like, a lot. That's why I'm gonna break it down into steps that are easy that you actually want to do this time so that you don't watch the video and think, oh, that would be a really good idea to do sometime, but then it never actually gets done. We're gonna do it right now. I'm even going to help you put it into your schedule in this video. By the end of this video, it's gonna be in your calendar, in your schedule. So let's get you up to speed. Let's start by talking a little bit about why the content you're consuming isn't actually translating into action the way that you might have hoped. The problem with self-development content is that it's all focused on doing really difficult things, getting out of your comfort zone, which is all well and good, but that can seem super, super daunting for a beginner who hasn't even experienced taking the first step or doesn't know what it's like to go out of their comfort zone. It makes you want to not even try it in the first place because everyone makes it seem so scary. I personally have read, listened to, and watched tons and tons and tons of motivational, confidence, self-help development content. Nothing ever really spoke to the place that I currently was in as a beginner. No one is really paying attention to the beginners at the bottom of the stairwell that can't reach the very first step. And what do you do if you can't reach the first step? You get a step stool. This step stool that you're gonna employ needs to be 2 things. First of all, it needs to be high enough so it can actually get you off of the ground, away from your comfort zone, and pushes you up towards those stairs. It also has to be low enough that you're able to climb onto it, and it has to be low enough that you can climb on it easily and willingly. Once you're able to get up this first step, all of those steps that you're climbing are actually way easier than you think they are because you're kind of primed and practiced for it. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. I have 6 activities for you. I'm going to help you choose 3. These are specially designed to have an extremely low barrier of entry, but also give you enough of a challenge so that it actually rewards you. Like I said earlier, I'm going to help you schedule them. So starting next Monday, from whenever you're watching this video, that's when we're going to put in our first activity. So this first activity on Monday is going to help you feel more comfortable around yourself. I'm going to give you 2 options. At the end of it, I'll have you pick one. The first activity is singing in your car. I told you it was going to be fun. Why this works: you practice speaking out loud, hearing your voice, being comfortable, and also projecting something that you're passionate about. Why it's fun: you get to sing whatever song you want. You get to sing your favorite song. Singing is pretty fun. Why it's safe: you are alone in the car. No one has to hear you sing. If this makes you feel uncomfortable, because it sounds silly, but if you don't sing in the car often enough, it can be kind of jarring to hear your own voice. So if this seems a little bit too uncomfortable for you, I would recommend singing at a lower volume and keeping the volume of your music high enough so that you're not really hearing your own voice as much. You're pretty much just hearing the song. If that sounds fun and easy and you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can do a karaoke version. So you're just hearing your own voice. Now, the second choice for your activity: record a video diary. So basically, you're just gonna set up a phone, set up a camera, and just talk. Whatever's on your mind, literally does not matter what it is. You can talk about something you're interested in. You can talk about your day, something you're scared of. This works because you're practicing speaking out loud, getting familiar and comfortable with seeing your own reflection, being perceived like a third person almost. It's fun because, again, you can talk about literally anything you want. It's up to you. You can talk about your favorite things, and it's safe because no one ever has to see the video and you can do this completely alone. If that feels a little too daunting for you, the easy mode of this challenge is going to be to just write it in a journal instead. And if you want a little bit of an extra challenge, you can watch back the video afterward and be confronted with all of the things that you said. Now I'm going to give you 10 seconds to choose which activity you're going to do, starting now. now that you've chosen, I'm giving you 15 seconds to write it in your calendar for next Monday. Go. One-third of the way done, look at you. So this next activity is designed to get you comfortable with inexperience, not knowing how to do something. This is gonna vary a little bit more from person to person. Pick whatever kind of speaks to you the most. The first option for activity 2 is going to be going to a restaurant or an establishment where you don't really know how it works. So by this I mean, I've been someone who has really never gone to coffee shops because I don't drink coffee. So the concept of like going in and like knowing all of the different names for the drinks, and then do you want it hot? Do you want it cold, iced? There's like the latte, there's the different milk, there's the different sweetener. Like I don't know any of that. So for someone else, it would be really simple to go in and just order what they want, but for me, there's a lot of different options. I'm a little bit out of my depth. Same thing with going to a place like Subway or Chipotle where you have to like make it as you go. So you're talking to the person, the worker there is asking you, how do you want to make it? You can't just do it online and pick it up, or you can't just say, I want that thing off the menu. You order it and it's done. You have to go through an interaction of figuring it out. This really works best if it's something that you're unfamiliar with. So again, I know a lot of people have different experiences. I'm gonna be honest, I've been to Chipotle a billion times and I still would rather just put in the order and pick it up from online. I don't really like going in there and telling them all the things. When I do it, I'm perfectly fine. It's just a little bit of friction in my life that I'd rather not have. So why it works, obviously, is because the goal is to kind of do something that you don't know how to do or that you're a little bit unfamiliar with. It can be enough that you always just avoid it if you have an easier option because it's not your favorite thing to do. It's fun because you get to go somewhere, eat some yummy food, and it's safe because it's a super normal thing to do. Like millions and billions of people do that every single day. There's workers there that are designed to help you understand how to do stuff. So there's really not a lot of risk there except maybe being a little bit confused and they have to explain to you how it works. If it seems a little bit daunting, an easy mode can be going with a friend or looking up the menu online, looking up how it kind of works online, you know, really preparing and practicing about it. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, I would challenge you to go in without looking at the menu at all, or picking a place that you know is going to be kind of like this, but you have no idea what they serve there or how it works. Why not? If you feel like that doesn't really apply to you or it's just not your cup of tea, the other option I would suggest is signing up for a beginner class. You can find a lot of classes pretty cheap if it's just a beginner class or even for free. So it works out as like a one-time thing perfectly. You don't have to spend a ton of money. This works because you can practice learning a new skill and also you're exposing yourself to being around other people while you're practicing it. The whole point is kind of doing something that you're not really sure how to do, but again, it's a beginner class. That's literally the point. So there's an instructor there and the skill level is going to be beginner. It's fun because you can do something you've always wanted to try. You can go out and you'll learn a new fun skill, and most classes are pretty fun. The reason it's safe is because it's a beginner class. There's really no expectation there, and you only need to do it one time. The easy mode version of this challenge would be to do something that you have a little bit of experience in, or maybe an interest in, so it's not a totally foreign concept to you. And then of course, the challenge mode of this activity would be to do something you've never heard of before, you've never really had any interest in maybe, and something that's completely different to you. So again, I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to decide between those two options. And now you're gonna have 15 seconds to put whatever activity you just chose in your calendar for next Wednesday. If you chose the class, you don't necessarily have to do a class on Wednesday, but you can make sure that you sign up for a class on or before Wednesday. All right, last one, we're almost there. This activity is going to get you more comfortable around other people. So for your third activity that you're gonna do on Friday, your first option is to go out in public and take pictures of yourself. This works because again, you're practicing being perceived by other people, going out in public, doing something that's maybe a little bit out of the norm. People are gonna notice you, you might stand out a little bit, but it also works great because you're giving yourself a reward. You're also telling yourself that you're worth spending this time and energy on because you're taking pictures of yourself. You are something to be celebrated and you're worth going out of your way for. And it's safe because, again, millions and billions of people do this all the time and nobody cares. And the worst that can happen is that someone looks at you and they're like, oh, they're taking a picture in public. Easy mode version is going to be bringing a friend along to take pictures with you. However, make sure that you go somewhere where you're still in public. So don't just like go into the forest with your friend and take pictures of each other. That's not really the same thing. Go into public, you guys can both be a little bit nervous together. And the challenge mode of this is going to be asking someone else to take a picture of you, like a stranger on the street. If taking pictures isn't really your thing, your other option for this activity is going to be striking up a conversation with a stranger in public. This works again because you're practicing being perceived in public, talking to other people, and you're also affirming that you can start the conversation. If you want an interaction to happen, you can get the ball rolling. You don't need to wait for someone to come to you. It kind of just translates into life. You don't need to wait for things to come to you. You can decide when they start and you can decide to start them. It's fun because it's pretty fun to have interactions with people. Personally, every time there's been small talk with a stranger, I've always been kind of nervous and I'm always like, oh, like I just want to get through this and have it be over. But at the end, I'm always like, that was so nice, you know? Like I don't do that enough. I don't talk to people enough. It makes you feel really connected with the whole entire world around you. And it's safe because, again, millions and billions of people do this every single day. And you're not going to be weird for talking to someone. The easy mode version of this activity is going to be complimenting a stranger. This is great because it's really easy to compliment someone, and usually these interactions are a little bit more short and they're a little bit more normalized. So if you just say, oh, I love your sweater, it's like, oh, thanks, and you move on. Or, oh, I got it here, I like your skirt, etc. If you want a challenge mode version of this, you can ask them a question. This also is nice because they get to do some more of the talking, but you're initiating something that's a little bit outside the box of what just a normal compliment would be. And as always, your 10 seconds to decide starts now. And now that you've decided, you're gonna have 15 seconds to put it in your calendar for next Friday. All right, so your week is totally scheduled. You don't even have to think about it. You finish this video and you don't need to schedule anything in your calendar. It's already there. Even though these are designed to be super fun and easy, you're probably thinking that you're still going to experience some level of anxiety or discomfort. And you might even be feeling that now because it's the most common to feel anxious right before you do something or you're thinking about the possibility of doing it. And really the most important thing to remember here is that it's not just you. Everyone wants to feel like they're special, and yes, you're super special, but in this aspect, no. Everyone you ask deals with the same problem of wanting to be more confident, wanting to be more outgoing, wishing that they could just not be as self-conscious as they are. And it's something that you're going to be working through your entire life, and you're only going to keep getting better at your entire life. So I can't cure it for you in like the next through the end of this video, but I do have a quick cheat sheet of the top 3 things that are the most effective so that you can get the biggest bang for your buck when dealing with being anxious and being discouraged. It's gonna make everything go a whole lot smoother, and you're gonna be armed with these tools so that you can vanquish any bad feelings you have and they won't disrupt you from doing the things that you want to do. The first most important thing you need to remember is that when you get that weird feeling that just puts you in a bad mood and is distracting you from what you're trying to do, it's just an emotion distracting you. That sounds super simple, but I'm going to explain it to you so you understand why. We tend to feel really guilty and disappointed and discouraged when we are met with these bad feelings and these anxieties that prevent us from doing what we want to do, because we feel like we aren't strong enough to complete the task that we set out to do. So right off the bat, the shame is kind of placed on you, which makes it very difficult to figure out exactly what you're feeling and how to move past it. I'm here to tell you, if you don't don't know how you're feeling and you just feel bad, 99% of the time it can be boiled down to fear. So anytime that you feel like you're not feeling good while doing something, ask yourself if there's something you're afraid of. If the answer is yes, ask yourself why you're afraid of it. For example, one thing I struggle with a lot is feeling like I don't know what to do next. So it kind of puts me in this paralyzed state that makes it very difficult to get out of. Once I ask myself if I can attribute this to fear, I realize that not knowing what to do is actually just fear of making the wrong decision. Then I ask myself, why am I afraid of making the wrong decision? And what would happen if I made the wrong decision? Even after doing this, you might still not feel great. You might still have that anxiety and that fear. But the most important part is that you visualize the threat, because we feel the most disoriented and confused when we feel like there's a threat somewhere, but we can't tell exactly where it's coming from. We don't really know what emotion is going on inside of our brains. Once we know that we're afraid of something, it becomes less confusing. So we still might have fear around it, but it's not in control. We are in control, and we can clearly see the emotions we have. There's plenty of things I'm scared of. Knowing that I'm scared of it doesn't mean I'm not scared, but at least I know that I'm scared of it. I know that I'm not intimidated by it. I know that I don't feel guilty because of it. I just know that I'm scared of it, and that's okay. But it gives me the control, and it lets me move forward to do the tasks that I need to do. The second thing you need to understand is that your emotion is the outsider, and the challenge that you're doing is actually inside you. When we feel anxious or discouraged about something, we feel as if we are that emotion. We feel as if that emotion defines us and gives us information on our capabilities and what we can and can't do. So for example, if you feel anxious about taking pictures of yourself in front of other people, you're going to interpret that information as, I'm not the kind of person that takes pictures in front of other people because it's outside of my comfort zone and it's too adventurous for me. And it makes sense because we're designed to take in feedback from our feelings. Our emotions, our anxieties are there to give us feedback about the world. And then we take that information, we process it, and we give a result on the kind of person that we are and how to prevent ourselves from being in similar situations that make us feel anxious. So you're treating the anxiety as if it's part of your identity about this activity. And you're treating the activity, taking pictures of yourself in public, as something that's outside of you, that's not part of you, that's something separate, when in reality, it is the complete opposite. You decided at some point of sound mind and body that you wanted to take pictures of yourself in public. This is something you thought about for months, maybe even years. You saw pictures on Instagram of other people doing the same thing. You saw people in public doing the same thing, and you were always thinking, I would want to do that. Maybe I'm not there right now, but that's something I like. That's something I wish that I could do. You decided this in your calm, neutral, sound-minded state, without anxieties distracting you. So that's really who you are. 99% of the time, that's how you feel. That's your identity. So if you are the kind of person that wants to take pictures in public, you've thought about wanting to do it 99% of the time, and the 1% of the time that you actually go to do it, you get anxious, and that anxiety tells you, actually, you were wrong about this. How does it make any sense to trust that over your rational self? This anxiety comes in from outside and it completely clouds you so that you are distracted from what you actually want to do. It's able to cloud you so much that you actually forget why you wanted to do this in the first place, and you forget that you purposely decided to do this in the first place. And again, this might not completely get rid of your anxiety, but understanding and reminding yourself that it's coming from outside of you and it's not an inherent part of who you are puts you back in control. You remember what you want to do. You recognize anxiety is there, but it's not controlling the narrative. You're still deciding, and anxiety is just one issue that you have to deal with because you're in the driver's seat. So adding on top of this, the third thing that you need to remember is that you are in control, always. Everything you chose to do, you decided at some point, and you're choosing to do deliberately. This I find to be especially helpful when you're out in public doing something that makes you a little bit nervous because you're worried about how people think of you and how people are looking at you. If you tell yourself, I decided to wear this outfit. I purposely decided to put on this outfit knowing that I was going to be more overdressed than everyone in this establishment. I knew people were going to look at me, and I decided to do it anyway. And just because someone else is looking at me, maybe thinking, oh, they're way too overdressed to be here, it doesn't mean that I still didn't do it on purpose. That's really what self-confidence is knowing that you did it on purpose and standing by that decision. It's kind of like how people say you can get in anywhere with a hard hat, high-vis vest, and a clipboard. It's a very similar thing. If you know that you have a mission, then no one else can tell you that you're doing something wrong. They just don't know what your mission is. I've seen tons of people, strangers, and I'm like, I have no idea what the heck they're doing. That seems really weird, but they obviously have a reason for it. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. They decided they're doing it on purpose, so they must have a reason for it. If you went to a cafe and you saw someone working on their laptop editing a video of themselves, would your first thought be, that's so embarrassing to edit a video of yourself in public? Do you think you're a YouTuber or something? You don't even have any subscribers, but you're acting like you have 1 million subscribers. No, you would think, whoa, that girl must be a YouTuber. Maybe she's famous. So you need to give yourself that same grace that you give to everybody else. And that is the real crash course of self-confidence. That's really the only thing that you need to know. It's just hard to cultivate it, but it's just that simple. Okay, well, as you can see, it's getting quite dark outside and my light is going down. So this is the end of the video, and I hope that you guys found this really, really helpful. I have watched so much self-help content. I love it. There's a lot of great content out there, but it wasn't until I started doing things, even the tiniest little things, that I understood what they were talking about. I always kind of got it, but I never really got it, you know? And I want to be able to give that to you because I think everyone deserves to have that. The other thing I want to say before I go is that it's really, really important to decide you're going to do something and then do it. But it doesn't need to be difficult. You can decide you're going to go dress up and go somewhere fun. And if you write it down, you make a promise to yourself and you do it, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. You're going to feel so much more confident. And the point is, it doesn't need to be something that's scary. It can be something you've always wanted to do that you think is fun. Doing fun things signals that you trust yourself, and it's going to make it way easier for you to do those difficult things in the future. I'm super curious about what you guys thought of this video. So if you did watch this, please comment what you think. Very curious if I kind of struck the right balance of fun and easy. Did you find these way too simple? Did you find these too difficult? I don't know. Again, I'm here for the absolute beginners because I understand what that's like. Thank you again for watching. If you have any thoughts, please let me know. Leave me a like if you found it helpful and a subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Have a great night.